go. Okay. Okay, welcome everyone to the Gut Health Masterclass. It is such a pleasure and honor of mine to be sharing this with you. So many of you have come to me and asked me uh, more about Ayurveda and what I do, and particularly, so many people come to me who have digestive issues and just want to get a better understanding of how that relates to their health holistically. So, my whole objective with sharing with you this masterclass today is that you can walk away with actually 5 tangible steps that you can start implementing in your day-to-day life that will not only help you see immediate relief with some of the digestive symptoms that you may have, but also these are tools that you can then take and integrate in your life, and that's really going to improve the quality of your life. So, as I said in the little email reminder, and just before we fully dive into this, really to make the most out of this session because it is a great honor of mine to share this with you, but also to make sure that you are in a place to best receive this knowledge. First and foremost, as a gift to yourself, I really ask you to be present. So try to put away your phones and give yourself the gift of focus. Secondly, take notes. So, writing things down, it just will help you better absorb the information. So, I usually deliver a lot of my workshops in person and they're really delivered orally. So, for you to also try and retain as much as well and be able to really utilize this information and wisdom that I'm sharing with you too. And number three, questions at the end. So this is, yeah, so you can stay engaged. So save your questions, write them down. And also at any point, if anything resonates with you through any parts of this presentation where I'm sharing these kind of little nuggets of information, please feel free to just type in the chat. You can leave like a little emoji or you can comment nugget, things that really resonate with you. And yeah, actually, before we get in, I love to hear from you as well. People you can just put in the chat, maybe like one word or something that's brought you here today, and also where you're from. I'd really love to know. So you can just put in the chat where you're coming from and a word or feeling or something that you want to share while you're here. It'd be really nice to hear from you. If anyone wants to put in the chat where they're joining from today. Okay, well, I can't see anyone writing, but I'm assuming most of you guys are coming from Europe and US. So anyway, it's lovely. Megan, British but living in Barcelona. So lovely to have you, Megan, and hope it's nice and well, I hope it's been a nice sunny day for you in Barcelona there. And Charlotte, learning more about Ayurvedic cooking recently, joining from Irisera. Wonderful to have you. Irisera is a very dear place to me. It's a place that I call home. So wonderful to have you all here, joining from Irisera too. Yoo-hoo! Got some of my Irisera crew here. Really lovely to have you guys. Okay, wonderful. And Marie, bonjour, Marie, or bonsoir, so I should say. So in the evening from France. Very, very nice to have you. Thanks so much for joining. Okay, so we're going to start with, firstly, let's start with a grounding practice. So I invite you here just to find a comfortable seated position and just gently close down your eyes. So let's just take a moment to really be present and connect together. So as you're here, just feeling into your body and really giving yourself permission to really be present throughout this presentation, and not only through this presentation, but also for the rest of your day. So we can just simply start to let go of what's happened in your weekend, what's yet to come. So inviting in this grounding nature also for the rest of our day, the evening. And just noticing the sensations. So with the senses, maybe the things that you can feel around your body, the touch of your skin, your clothes, just noticing any noises around you, feeling the temperature of the air. And now we'll slowly start to turn this awareness, shift it inwards. Connecting to the body. Just quickly observing the body from the top of the head all the way down to the tips of the toes. Just noticing how you're feeling in your body in this moment. What kind of feelings and thoughts are with you. Just letting them be exactly as they are. No need to change anything here. And slowly now draw the attention to your breath, the natural rhythm of your breath. Good. Just noticing as you're breathing in and out through the nose. Notice the shape of the breath, the consistency, the texture, and the length of the inhale and exhale. Just breathing normally and naturally. And now we'll consciously start to shape the breath, so deepening the inhale and exhale, so evening out any inconsistency so it starts to flow really freely. And just breathe from the abdomen, so you're feeling the breath powered from the belly. And as you inhale, feel the breath start to expand from the belly to the front to the sides. And as you exhale, you're drawing the navel back into the spine, letting go of the breath. Good. So feel the breath coming from the belly as you inhale out. And as you exhale, feel it soften, the air come, releasing from the nose. Just a few more like this, nice, deep, even breaths. Let it just flow through you naturally. Just soften the belly so we can breathe as much from this space, allowing more air, more oxygen to enter our body. And also more capacity just to let go of the air and the other things that are not serving us. And take one more deep breath in. And slow exhale, release. And now just place your hands on your heart center. And I invite you here for whatever it is that called you today, whatever intention that you have, whatever it is, your part of your health that you're working on, you're looking for some answers, feeling this intention, this invitation, and really seed it deep into your heart here. And slowly start to rub the palms together. We just generate some heat. Place them over the eyes. As you gently start to draw your palms away from your eyes, slowly blinking them, letting the light come back in. Okay, welcome everyone. So, with the masterclass today, this is the agenda. So what I'll be guiding you through. Firstly, I want to share you a little bit more about me. For those of you who might not know me, a bit about my story, particularly how I got into Ayurveda and my journey with my health, particularly my gut health. The secondly is giving you an overview of digestion, both from Ayurveda and the modern science perspective. So, of course, this is a subject we can spend many hours, many years, and many lifetimes on. But just to frame it for you, a way for you to understand the overall objective and foundation in Ayurveda, and particularly now with all the evidence that we have supporting this in modern science. The third is probably why you're all here as well, is really understanding these kind of key 5 steps to fixing your digestion. So things that you can walk away with today that are really going to help nurture your gut and improve the overall quality of your life. So some simple tips that you can start implementing into your day-to-day where you're really going to see that difference. Then I will move on to something I'm super excited to share with you is that how I can help you feel your best, particularly with your digestion in just 12 weeks. So this is something that I'm super excited to share with you guys today as an exclusive. And then at the end, we'll have some time for our Q&A. So this will take us from now, probably just an hour from now. So again, probably about 75 minutes for the whole thing. So we're already 15 minutes into it. So again, really, really appreciate you being here and thank you so much for your time. So by the end of this presentation, you will leave this masterclass with really clear steps to start nurturing your gut and the opportunity to unlock better health and vitality for your life. So whilst when I share these master classes, I try and give as much valuable information in kind of bite-sized pieces that you can take away that are really, really valuable and useful for you to implement. Overall, we're always looking at the big picture. So particularly with Ayurveda, it's a lifestyle and how this can help you really form a beautiful framework to look at all the aspects of your health that are really going to help you thrive and flourish for your life. So, a bit about me. My name is Faria. I have over 15 years, almost 2 decades now, experience in health and wellness. So, my expertise lies in Ayurveda. So, Ayurveda is the science of life, the knowledge of longevity, and also very complementary to this, the sister science, which is probably most well known, is yoga. Yoga as well we see as the science of self-realization. So hand in hand, these two go so beautifully together. Ayurveda, the science of healing, and yoga, the science of self-realization. So with this, my passion is to share this in a very holistic way as well. And my professional background's actually been 15 years in the corporate world in digital marketing. So I'm also very passionate about sharing this, how we can apply it in our day-to-day lives, because a lot of people who I work with I know are very busy, are working jobs, are working mums, have their own businesses. So it's something that I love to be able to share things that have worked for me and things that I also wish I knew earlier, when I was working through my corporate job roles. My background is Indian, and maybe you can hear from my accent, I'm Australian as well. So I was brought up in Australia, but I have an Indian background. Again, this is something I am very proud to share from my heritage, this knowledge, these beautiful rituals and things that I grew up with. And now that I've also learnt them in also a very practical way that I've been able to implement in my life too. So with my training, I've done many, many hours of training in yoga, from all places in the world, particularly in India. I spend a lot of time there. I go there every year, and also in Ayurveda as well. Now I'm doing more of my clinical training in Ayurveda as well, where I go spend time with my teachers in India. So with my lived experience, I have been able to naturally manage a chronic illness. So this is to do with my menstrual cycle, and for quite a few years as well, I suffered from IBS. So when it comes to health and particularly this word healing, I like to look at it in a way that it's also something that we can nurture ourselves and better manage, because with healing, we know it's really a journey and there's kind of no end destination. And healing also looks very linear as well. So with my condition, I've really been able to better manage it. So it's nowhere near as bad as it was. So with me, particularly, my periods were very, very heavy, very erratic and all over the place. And for years, my gut was a mess. So I had salmonella poisoning, which kind of spurred on this IBS, which kind of went on for 10 years. So I've probably tried every diet, everything that you can imagine. And it was really when I started to learn Ayurveda that also transformed as well. And so now it's really my passion to combine all of this knowledge and expertise that I have to help others, and particularly people with gut and hormonal imbalances, because it really is a holistic approach. And this is the beautiful thing of Ayurveda, which I will share more about, how we always look at the root cause of what's going on, understand things holistically, and also really understand things how they work for you and your body and your constitution, which is unique for everyone. So, my journey with my health wasn't always easy. Throughout my 20s, I was working in a corporate role, and although I was really active, I started having issues with my gut. So, I was constantly bloated. I had all these IBS symptoms, the mood swings, the weight gain. And as I approached my 30s, I just started to think that weight gain and with fatigue were just a natural part of aging. So I was constantly inflamed. It was just something that I started to also accept, like with both my gut and my menstrual issues, so my heavy periods, and that just started to get progressively worse. And I was just at a stage where I felt so broken, and I really thought, okay, this is just something I'm going to have to live with. And and for any of you that have might have had these ongoing issues as well, it started to really manifest in me obsessing with my diet because I was trying to look for all of these answers. I didn't know what to do. And the thing that was really hard was it's so conflicting. It's so conflicting these days with so much information and you just don't know what to do. So I was always searching for these right foods and these right things, but nothing seemed to click. And I was suffering. I was suffering for so long. And so some of you might be wondering how old I am now. I'm actually about to turn 39 in a few days. So this is when I say, like, believe me, you really can not only help alleviate, but also trying to reverse some of these problems that you have. So with me particularly, that this is to do with my energy and how I'm feeling now as well. So now, now that I've learned to understand the root cause of all of my problems, I'm able to feel light and comfortable after my meals. This was something that, every time I used to eat, I used to have to be so obsessed over what I was eating because I'm like, this is going to make me bloated. This is going to make me constipated. This is going to cause me to break out. So having this freedom that I experience with knowing what to eat for me and feeling light and comfortable, not getting that heavy brain fog and that stagnant feeling after eating is pretty amazing. And I feel like this most of the time. Also, with this having a standing energy, like actually being able to wake up and feel good. There were so many days that I felt like I couldn't get out of bed because my periods were debilitating, and then with all of these gut issues as well, it was really, really hard to manage. So now I feel that I have a much more steady energy, not just when I wake up, but knowing how to manage my energy levels throughout the day, and also balance metabolism. So my appetite being quite strong throughout the day, feeling really comfortable in my body, being in a natural weight that is for my body, how I'm designed to, and really experiencing this ease and regularity with my cycle, which again, after so many years of having these very heavy, very painful periods, that is something that now as well is is so liberating to experience. Having said that, my periods are on the heavier side, but they're nowhere near as bad as they were. They got to a stage where I would have so much anxiety leading up during my period as well, because my periods would be so heavy, I'd be bleeding out of my clothes, I'd be so painful, I'd have to block out the days that I had my period because I really couldn't do anything. I felt so debilitated. And the other thing that I have learned to do especially with nourishing my gut as well, is to how to nourish myself intuitively without the stress. So this is really being able to cut out that noise and firstly trust myself the most because I know the things that are going to be supporting me. I know the things that are going to be supporting my digestion, my constitution, and the things that are really going to help to make me thrive. So, the secret to this all, what was the secret to me unpacking all of this with all of these, all of the trials and error, all of the years of knowledge? And the secret to it all actually lay in making my digestion the foundation for health. And even when, even to do with my period, even to do with my weight gain, even to do with my mood swings, whilst it might seem obvious making the digestion the priority for my health, particularly for my digestive issues, this was the key to unlocking this freedom, this more balanced version of me, this more energized version of me. And it all had to do with nurturing my gut, putting my digestion at the forefront of my health and making this a priority. So this is what Ayurveda teaches us, particularly, is that uh, our gut is the key to our overall health, not just alleviating symptoms that we have, but for the vitality and the vibrancy that we want to experience in our life. So, Ayurveda and digestion. Now, Ayurveda is something that I can unpack in a lot of detail, but for those of you who aren't familiar, so Ayurveda is an ancient system of medicine that has originated from India. It's more than 5,000 years. So, it's 5,000 years of time-tested wisdom. It's known as the science of life or the knowledge of longevity, and it's a holistic system that treats illness, imbalance or disease, like disease, actually the word meaning disease, by addressing the root cause. So in Ayurveda, we believe that if you are born healthy, it is not only your right, but it's your duty to look after your health, to live a long, happy, vibrant, peaceful, joyful life where you can thrive. And it is possible, let me tell you, it absolutely is. And with Ayurveda, we look at maintaining this balance between the mind, the body, and our spirit. So there's no separation when we're looking at what are the foods we're eating, what are the practices we are doing, who are the people we're surrounding ourselves with, what are the climates that are best suited to us. So this is why it's a very holistic approach to health. And whilst we have many advances in modern science, in allopathic medicine that these days is very focused on treating the symptoms, not the root cause. So, for example, you go to your doctor with a headache, you get a pill to cure the pain, or you have a cold, you get antibiotics. But in Ayurveda, we look at the root cause, what's going on, why are you getting sick, and how we can prevent this from happening further. So it's really all about preventative medicine as well, so you can have the best quality of life. So, the fundamental concept with Ayurveda is that healing begins with digestion. It's the foundation of health. And in Ayurveda, and this is again something that's supported with modern science as well, we believe 80% of diseases, imbalances, any health ailments are psychosomatic in nature, meaning they come from imbalances, disturbances in our mind. And with especially the crisis that we're having in health now, the health epidemic in mental health, it's more important than ever we're able to understand the the importance of being able to nurture our digestion as the foundation of our health. So digestion, when we hear the word digestion, gut, what comes to mind? Like, okay, our digestive system, chewing food, our stomach, elimination. But in Ayurveda, digestion is a concept that goes beyond the physical. So it governs both our physical metabolism and energetic transformation. And this is something we refer to our Agni, our digestive fire. So again, if we're looking at digestion, it really is much more than what we eat. So every experience, every thought, every action, every sensory input impacts our gut. So in fact, everything that we do in our day-to-day lives at any moment is impacting our digestion. So This is why the Agni, this digestive fire, this force that's within inside us, is the most vital part of our well-being and that we need to nurture as well. So, how does modern science then validate Ayurveda's approach to digestion? Well, it's so interesting now because there are so many things that we're able to understand more and more about this fascinating ecosystem that's within us and how it's so important to maintaining the overall vitality of our health. So, the first, which many of you might have heard of as well, is the gut microbiome. So, the gut microbiome controls our immunity and metabolism. So, within us, particularly within our gut, we have this entire ecosystem that's residing within us, that's comprised of millions of different types of organisms. And the research shows that the gut microbiome plays a crucial role in regulating the immune function, metabolism, and impacting our overall health. So, whilst we know we eat, we absorb the nutrients that nourishes the body, there's much more in play here. So, a really interesting fact is that, in fact, 70% of our immune system is housed in the gut. So, that means what the foods that we eat, the things that we're ingesting, if we nurturing our gut health, that means we're going to have a really strong and robust immune system, which will then help us be less susceptible to getting sick as well. The second thing is the gut-brain connection. Again, something that is we're hearing a lot more research on. So it's called what we know as the gut-brain axis. So the gut and the brain communicate via the gut-brain axis primarily through the vagus nerve. And some of us, again, you might have heard saying that the gut is the second brain because they have this intricate connection which completely influences our mood and mental health. So this is why we really look at food as medicine because it is one of the things that is most impactful in nurturing not only our bodies but our state of mind as well. So a really interesting fact as well that 90% of serotonin, which is a neurotransmitter, it's known as our feel-good hormone, is produced in the gut. So if we have disturbances and imbalances in our gut, this is likely going to be reflected in our mind. Again, it's very, very important to be able to know how to balance this connection and do things where we're managing and regulating our nervous system through this vagus nerve, which I will take you through in more detail at the end of the presentation as well. And lastly, digestion and longevity. So a strong and healthy balanced digestion means longevity. Longevity in the sense of, yes, a long life, but also a really good quality of life. And I think ultimately this is what we all want to experience in life, right? Is to have a healthy, happy, really good quality of life. And this is what I always encourage people to think of as well. We're always usually looking at the immediate issues that we have. So some of you might be having gut issues or other certain health issues, but I always try and encourage you to think about the quality of your life that you want. What does that look like when you're 80 or 90 or 100? How do you want to be? How do you want to feel in your body? What are the things that you want to accomplish? So studies highlight that a well-functioning digestive system is linked to improved longevity and reduced age-related illnesses. And a fact here is that people with a strong digestive health tend to have better vitality and longer life expectancy. And we know this, and we can really relate this to people who live in the blue zone. So these blue zones are areas in the world where people live until 100, and usually they're living in a very healthy way. So they're very much connected with nature, they're very much connected with the seasons, eating locally, eating seasonally, very connected with community. So these are all of the things. Remember, I was talking about digestion, which is much more than what we eat. We look at the lifestyle and our surroundings and how that impacts us as well. And the quality and the how we want to live our lives is directly linked to our digestion as well. So, what are the 5 things that you can start doing now and learn long term to really nurture your digestion? So, the first thing, and I know we all know this one, is to manage stress. And this is something that is not only the kind of core aspect of understanding and nurturing our Agni, our digestion, but it's something that I'm very, very passionate in sharing my approach with Ayurveda, with healing, with helping others. So manage stress. I believe that it's really hard to just reduce stress and to de-stress because we are dealing with stress every day at any given point at time in our life. So the problem, and I spoke of this before, the current health crisis that we have, the epidemic that we're seeing with mental health, stress, poor sleep, overload, burnout, these are all things that weaken our digestion. And like I said before, keeping in mind that not only in Ayurveda, but we know this link between the mind and the gut. 80% of all disease, any imbalance is psychosomatic in nature. So we really have to become almost like these masters of being able to manage our stress, of being able to regulate our nervous system. In our life, we're always going to be going through ups and downs. But the key here and why it's so important to be able to learn and experience how to manage our stress is that we're able to ride through those waves with more ease. We're able to know the things that is going to immediately help to calm our nervous system, how to invite this sense of more groundiness and peacefulness. And we did this actually at the beginning of the presentation. When we did a grounding practice, I took you through a practice where we're breathing from the belly, diaphragmatic breathing. So my first tip, diaphragmatic breathing is one of the most potent breathwork practices that you can do. So breathwork, another thing that has become quite popular in the wellness space, and usually this is very much focused on heightening our nervous system, getting a lot more oxygen to the brain. But in fact, what most of us really need is to find more balance and grounding. So when we do diaphragmatic breathing, we're increasing our lung capacity, increasing our ability to absorb oxygen, get in energy, and also expel, get rid of the things that are no longer serving us, and better detoxify ourselves as well. So diaphragmatic breathing, it's a great practice to do anytime, but particularly before meals, because this switches the rest and digest mode for better digestion, so activating that vagus nerve and really helps with nutrient absorption. Because most of the problems with our digestive issues is not just the food we eat, but it's really how we're eating. So it really, when we start to connect with the breath, it encourages us to be more present with our meal. Because one of the best ways that we can nourish ourselves and to give ourselves this medicine is through the food that we eat. So when we're connected to the food that we eat, by taking that time to slow down, to chew our food, to be present, this again, healing happens on another level here. So how I help with long term, this is by sharing simple breath work, mindfulness, and stress reducing techniques to calm your mind and support your gut without needing hours of meditation. So I'm someone who very, very deeply committed to my practice, and that involves like yoga, meditation, breath work. And I also know, having my 15 years experience in corporate life and just, I think all of us have a lot on our plate just getting through life, is that I really help you find those practices that are really going to make a difference and that also you can sustain in your day to day. So that might be picking up the kids from school or when you're on the train commuting to work, really helping you find those techniques that are going to be most suited for you and that also can help you get the best results in the shortest amount of time. And this is really the amazing power of breath work. So my number one go-to breakfast practice that I really recommend and encourage you to do in your day-to-day is diaphragmatic breathing. Number two is sticking to a routine. I know, again, this might be hard for some of us, but this is a practice that will really transform. It will really transform your life and your overall well-being. So the problem that we have now, because we have so much stimulation and sometimes can be very overcommitted, late nights, skip meals, irregular eatings. These are things that really confuse our digestion. So they confuse our digestion, they disrupt our metabolism, they dysregulate our hormones. So my tip here is that we wake up before 6 a.m. So Ayurveda is a science that is aligned with nature. So we're letting nature support us. And we know when we wake up at this time, again, this is something that's supported with modern science, our pineal glands are most active. We're in a state where we can really find this, this alignment with the clarity that we also need. And when we do this as well, we're able to better sustain our energy for the day. So one of the best ways to maintain a routine is to eat meals at regular times. So when we're doing this, we're signaling as well to our body that it's safe, that it knows when to prepare to get food, something that also helps balance and regulates the hormones. And the key to waking up to at 6 a.m. in the morning is to be able to go to sleep before 10. So Ayurveda is very much a science of logic. So there are reasons why we do all of this. So energetically as well, before 10 o'clock is a really good time to go to bed, because this is when our metabolism really starts to kick in for us to be able to get into the deep sleep, the real nurturing sleep that we need. So we're able to really rest and restore our body. And I know why this might be difficult for some people, particularly if you have a young family, you're working shifts. In that case, I always recommend try to, as much as you can, put routine in the things you're doing. So your meal times or before you go to bed, even though your sleep schedule might be a bit disrupted. So how I help with long term. So I help you find an Ayurvedic routine that helps to reset your digestion naturally without these rigid schedules or overhauling your life, because uh, change can only be sustainable if it's something that we can implement in the long term. And I'm always looking for ways to really help you implement this in your day-to-day routine, because then it becomes tangible. Then you're able to see those results. And number three, cut out these foods. So these are the usual suspects. Again, there's probably no surprise here. But the problem, alcohol, and this is something if for those of you who are following me on Instagram or you subscribe to my newsletters, something that I speak about quite a lot recently. And with alcohol, now the studies have shown that there is actually no health benefit to alcohol. So even wondering that you have is detrimental to your health, because alcohol simply converts into a toxin. So it's poison for our body. So particularly if you have ongoing health issues, if you have a chronic condition, ongoing gut issues, hormonal imbalances, I cannot highly recommend to reduce or even better, cut out alcohol. And I know that is a journey as well, but this is something that will completely transform your health. And in Ayurveda as well, we recognize Ayurveda as a toxin. It converts immediately into what we call ama. So it's very, very hard for then the body to help to regulate again and also to eliminate this. And yeah, it is something that there's kind of no cutting around with it, but also in a way that you can do that allows you to find balance. So processed foods and sugar as well, excessively salty foods, um, fried foods, caffeine. Caffeine is another big one. With a lot of my clients I work with, they're like, I'm ready to do everything for you, but please don't take away my caffeine. So caffeine it's a really it's a big hormone disruptor, particularly with our cortisol levels. So it disrupts our gut bacteria as well and our digestion. So even if you are having coffee, one thing I can tell to share with you from this is, at least when you have coffee, have breakfast first, then have it. Because when we have coffee, especially on an anti-stuffing, it's something that really, really depletes our nervous system and really disrupts our hormone levels as well. So what is something that you can do then to start your day is to start your day with a warm digestive tonic, cumin, coriander, and fennel tea. This is something I have in my cookbook, which is the link to is on my Instagram. I also share a reel on my Instagram as well with CCFT. So this is known as a beautiful digestive detoxifying tonic. It's basically just blended coriander, cumin, and fennel. These are all very easily available herbs to get. Instead of coffee, this really supports your digestion, because the first thing in the morning, we want to activate that fire, that the Agni, the digestive fire. We also want to help to cleanse out anything that's that's accumulated from the night before. So this combination really helps to flush out that toxins and to helps to ignite that fire to get ourselves ready for the day, to have that clarity and that energy that we need. So how I help in the long term, particularly with cutting out these foods and eliminating these foods. And I know this is really hard because, for example, alcohol is a very big part of culture, of Western culture, of how we of entertainment, of having fun as well. Caffeine is again something that most people just do. Coffee, it's such a normal part of our day. So I really teach you how to reduce these irritants, these foods that cause inflammation without feeling deprived as well. So looking at giving alternatives, healthy alternatives and alternatives that you can enjoy and that you feel energized with and balanced and not restricted. Because ultimately the goal that we're working for as well, we want our digestion to be really balanced and strong. So that from time to time, of course, we can have a piece of cake or some fries without feeling that's completely going to throw our gut off. So number 4, and I know this one is something we're just, I guess, infiltrated with, and it's super hard to find that information. We're just like, what is the right thing for me? What I can really say, and trust me, I'm a person who's probably tried every diet there is, from keto to paleo to vegan to everything. It's just stop following the fads. Please stop following the fads. And, we have things that as well that we might think are healthy, like raw salads. And now it's all about protein and counting the protein and high fat diets and smoothies and protein powders. These are all things that are really hard to digest. And not only that, when I mentioned before about my story about getting like so obsessed with the foods, it actually causes more stress to your system. And food should not be stressful. When we look at food and our relationship food, it should be nourishing. And this is where it can become almost dangerous as well when we're getting really obsessed over the foods that we start to eat. So the Ayurvedic approach really teaches us that the foods that are really going to help support and nourish our digestion. So the tip here is to swap cold and raw foods for warm, freshly cooked meals. So one of the things that really supports our Agni and digestive fire is if it's fresh, so freshly cooked, whenever you can, and warm. So these are things that are really nurturing for the gut, that allow for that maximum nutrient absorption, and that will help give us this vitality and sense of nourishment after we eat. It's another thing that really helps to reduce the symptoms, a lot of common symptoms that we have, like with gas and bloating, for example. This is really not conducive for this happy environment in our gut for us. So to cut out the cold and raw foods, I promise you as well, this is something that will really make you feel a lot more at ease and a lot more cleansed. So having things like soups and stews that are really easy to digest really help with reducing bloating as well. So when I'm working with my clients long term, I really focus on developing a plan that is suited for your body type to really find the foods that are right for your digestion, because I know this can be a really tough one. And just being aware of the foods as well, like particularly like the foods that are more inflammatory in nature, the foods to avoid, because what ultimately what I want to share with you is as well that you become the master of your own health. So you start to know intuitively, these are the things that are going to be more supportive, more favorable for me, for my digestion, for my body type, and the things that are less unfavorable. So you can just cut through all this noise and really be able to listen and know what your body needs more intuitively. The other thing, number 5, is to move daily. So this is a big problem with the society. And I know it is probably the nature of a lot of the work that we do as well, is a sedentary lifestyle. This really slows down our metabolism. It slows down our digestion. It increases our aging. It increases bloating. So what we can do is to take a 10-minute walk or even just 100 steps after you eat, or even something like, okay, do the dishes, do the laundry, make the bed, or if you're at work, if office, just get out of your desk, go for a walk, go outside. This really helps to boost digestion and prevent that sluggishness. again, this is one of the things that, with movement and everything, whilst we know it's really good, how you can just do things simply in your day to day without having to go for like an hour walk and so on. But we want to be able to help the food, this downward movement, the apana vayu of our food and our digestion, be able to flow, to be regular. So this is why just a few steps, going for a little walk, are doing these things where we're actively moving, because we think of our digestive system, it's like actually one big tube that starts from our mouth and ends in our out from our butt. So we want to keep things moving, to keep things flowing and keep things smooth. So, how I can help long term is also by guiding you through strengthening and flexible movements, because these are the kind of movements that we need not only to support our digestion, but to support us as we get into older age as well. The things that are going to we're going to be building the strength, have the flexibility and mobility. This is something that I'm also very passionate and knowledgeable with my practices and studies with yoga movement and therapy too, without needing these crazy, crazy intense workouts. Because a lot of these workouts, particularly high intensity workouts, they're usually working against our body most of the time, adding in more stress, causing more inflammation too. So we look at doing this in a very, very balanced way, but also very effective way. So, whilst I know a lot of this information might not be new to you, then why is it so hard to get the long-term results? So, the first thing is emotional and mental blocks. So the things that we have, the habits that I get in the way, the excuses that we make, it's things that we know, but we're not able to implement them. And this also comes down to inconsistency, because sometimes when we see these trends and see these advices, it's like, oh, I need to be doing an hour practice, and then I need to be cooking every single meal fresh. And then it just becomes very overwhelming. So, inconsistency without being able to follow these recommendations through. And of course, it's lack of accountability. So, whilst it can be very overwhelming to do all these things that we know to take care of our health. And also if you're managing a family or you're sharing with someone, we all have our things going on. So having that lack of accountability and support, it's really hard. And then lastly is the wrong approach. Having been someone who's trialed and tested everything, not having the right approach. So it's these things that I wish I knew earlier that are going to help me not only feel better immediately, but are going to help with those long-term results. So this is where we struggle. And this is where, after my personal transformation, so having can say this wholeheartedly, from my experience, having gone through years of suffering, it really was like that. I felt so broken, not being able to get out of bed with my bloating, just feeling so exhausted. These are all things I really wish that someone told me earlier. So after I was able to really dive deep, learn Ayurveda and implement this into my day-to-day practice, being able to share that after working over the last few years now with more than 100 clients, I've developed a signature method for lasting results. So not only for you to see immediate relief, but these are lasting results that you're going to be able to have throughout your lifetime, so you can experience this this sense of being at home with yourself. It's something I really want people to experience, is being at home with yourself, being at home in your mind and your body, and you knowing best how to nurture yourself for your life. I'm so excited to share with you a program that I've been developing over the last year after my years of experience. It's called the Gut Restore Method. And this is a 12-week journey to transform your health. So this is what we do, looking really at the gut as the foundation for our health. And we work on this so we can start to experience immediate relief from your self systems, but also that you have a toolbox that you can walk away, that you know are the things that are going to make the most impact in your life. So I've been there. Let me tell you, I've been there. And I get it. If you're just so tired of the digestive discomfort, the bloating, the fatigue, constipation or loose stools, unpredictable digestion, hormonal imbalances, this is something when I after I turned 30 that I was just like, okay, this is my body aging, my weight is all over the place, my cycles are all over the place. And I know a lot of women my age as well getting into perimenopause and that how struggling, how challenging that can be. And most importantly, all of these things at the end of the day, they make you feel so disconnected. They make you feel not only this low energy, the brain fog, but the lack of purpose and balance. So if you're tired of feeling that way and you want to be at ease in your body, like I was talking about, feeling at home in your body, light and comfortable with your digestion, balance with your hormones, so you have improved skin cycles and metabolism and your moods. Your moods are less erratic. And most importantly, you can come home, you know how to reconnect and thrive. So you're gaining that clarity. That means you're feeling good most of the time, and you have a deep sense of well-being because you feel this connection to yourself. You're feeling yourself alive again. And let me tell you, this is how I feel now. And this is how I want all of my clients to feel. And through this journey, I've been able to take all of those things that I've been able to learn and put this in a 12-week program. So for you to really feel your best. So I've developed a signature method that we go over 12 weeks. So it's a very purposeful journey that we go through that has to happen in a certain order, but also in the most efficient way. So the first few weeks, what happens is that we're understanding the Ayurvedic principles, your constitution. We really set the tone for not only the healing with our digestion, but as we know, it starts from the mindset. So these are all things to really train your mind to get rid of those bad habits, to have that clarity and purpose that you need, and the rituals that you need to support that. So the rhythms for finding balance and the foundations that we're setting for eating and digestion, the four pillars in Ayurveda, we have our nutrition, our lifestyle, our sleep, and our energy. So this is actually what we spend the first 4 weeks on, is really getting into that mindset, really slowly starting to eliminate the things, making the foundation for our health. Because whether you should eat kale or spinach and all of those things, we're not going to touch upon in the first few weeks, and unless we have those tools to know what is the foundation for our health that are things that are really going to be making the difference and how to carry them through. Then we go through our unlock phase. So we're letting go, we are refining our diet. And this is where we spend 4 weeks actually going through the process of a cleanse. So very similar through how we do in Panchakarma, which is a signature Ayurvedic detoxification program. We prepare the gut. We cleanse the gut through very safe at-home methods you can do using the Ayurvedic principles. And then we learn how to reintroduce those foods as well, so we can help find the balance and know the foods that are going to support us. And then the last 4 weeks, it's all about refining this, really re-nourishing and rejuvenating our systems. We're sustaining our balances through the Ayurvedic practice. So when I talk about Ayurvedic practice, again, it's much more than food. We do yoga, breath work, integration practices, things that are really going to strengthen and support our immunity. And by the end of it all, having a wellness plan that you are able to work with day to day, that you know, and you're able to feel really the difference and at home with yourself and being able to thrive. So what you get in the program, so the program, we go week by week. We have live weekly 1 hour group calls. So this begins on the 2nd of March. And so the commitment is the live weekly group calls and for you to be able to watch and all the information and everything. And with those integration practices takes about 30 to 45 minutes. So it's really not a lot of time. There's a weekly online program, which includes all of your food, the meals and nutrition, all of the practices, the daily, the food, the lifestyle trackers. So these are really ways to help keep you feeling accountable and also for you to see your progress. And that you'll have lifetime access to all of the videos and support. And the wonderful thing is that we're all in a group together. So you have that community and accountability. And it's so empowering to be able to go through this together and share as well. And we have those live weekly group support calls. So these are some testimonials from my clients who I've been so grateful to work with. Again, from dealing with various issues, different responsibilities. So the first one, my client Alicia, who was really suffering with gut issues and her pain point. So she's a celiac and she works a very, very busy corporate job. So with that, she was dealing with exhaustion, fatigue, constant body aches, heavy menstrual cycles, and headaches. So once she really learned how to balance her digestion and make those sustainable lifestyle tweaks just in a few weeks, she noticed so much of an improvement with her energy level. So even though, yes, there were restrictions around the things being a celiac as well, she also didn't know the foods that were really going to support her. So she saw such an improvement with her energy levels, the pain that she was seeing in her body really, really went away, and she no longer experienced painful periods. So that was such a transformation for her, and also someone with a chronic condition too. My second client that I worked with, Anna, is a 45 working mom going through perimenopause. And when she started to go through perimenopause, she really felt disconnected and she was also very bloated and drained. So the program really helped her realign her eating and also her eating habits, the things that supported her with her daily routine and natural rhythms. So then her hot flushes and her mood swings really eased. And she felt so connected to her health, having this toolbox of Ayurvedic practices that she could also turn for life. And the last is my other client, Isa, who has a chronic condition. She has Hashimoto's, a digital nomad. So, again, someone with a very dynamic lifestyle. She came with low iron hormonal imbalances. And she's told me, like, Fari, I've been to all the doctors, I've tried everything, and nothing has worked. And she also was able to learn that health looks different for everyone, and the program that really gave her the clarity that she needed for the things that were going to support her. So her digestion was almost symptom free when she followed the recommendations. She saw amazing improvements with her skin and hair, and for the first time in years, she felt like she was flowing instead of forcing. And this is one of the most rewarding and beautiful things that I want to share, and ultimately how I want you to feel. So the total value of the 12-week program, I'm putting in everything I've learned. It's got some amazing recordings, everything that I wanted to share. So you have the weekly calls, the ongoing support, all of the transformational practice. You have a wealth of information in there, supporting, again, it's very, very holistic. It's not just the nutrition. You'll have mindful practices, movement practices. So all of the learning, the videos there, the nutrition, the guidebook, the nutrition advice. So I'm packing so much value into this program. It's worth more than 4,000 euros. And today I have a special offer. So for the full program, for the full 12 weeks, it's just 980 euros. And this is something that I am really, really excited to offer you guys. And I wanted to make it accessible, and this is something that is really, really going to transform your health. It's if the 980 is something you can't do, I also have payment plans of 380 over 3 months. So if you're ready to stop guessing and finally heal and really nourish your gut, join me inside this program. So I know you might be thinking, okay, maybe I don't have the time or I've tried other programs. So this program is really designed to fit into your routines. As someone who I know, yes, I come from corporate life, dealing with day-to-day responsibilities. It's very important for me to make this accessible for you. So it just takes 1 hour with the lively calls and then 45 minutes a week for you to do the learnings and the practices. If you've tried other programs like my client Isa, they've tried many other things without lasting solutions. And the problem with that is that most of the things aren't focusing on the gut as a foundation and also the mindset. So we really focus on the mind-body connection and know that it's not a quick fix. So these are really long-term sustainable solutions that we're working for. And the price, I know it's an investment, but it works out to be about 12 euros a day. It's cheaper than going and doing something like a full panchakarma. And most importantly, these are tools that you're going to have, that you're going to be able to do for the rest of your life. You're actively working on this 12 weeks in a time where you're really able to see the results. So it's an investment in the long term, and it's not just a quick fix. So I have a special offer as well for you today, just the people who have joined my masterclass. So, as well as the full program, I'm going to be offering a free personalized consultation as part of this. So, before we kick off the program on the 2nd of May, you'll get a free personalized consultation. So, you'll know some of the things that you'll need to adapt. For example, if it's food, the food list or the practices that's really suited to you as well. And you'll really be able to get the most out of this program. This is something that I never do, but I'm really excited to share with you. And I really want you to be able to get the most out of this program. From now on, this is the way that I'm going to be working my clients because we need this time as well to be able to see those results. And I want you to really be able to feel your best and to be able to take that control. And like I said, come back home in your mind and your body. So I'm going to put in the link here the link to sign up. You can see more about the program here on the landing page and the payment as well. For those of you who want to do the payment plan, please reach out to me and we can to do the payment plan. But if you're ready, go ahead, sign up. All the details are there on the landing page. Let me put that here. And oops, and everyone in the meeting. So the link is in the chat. The link is in the chat. So this offer will be available for the next 42 hours. And I'm super excited to be starting this program in just a few weeks. So that brings us to the end of the presentation. It's just over the hour now. And I'd love to open this up for questions. And you can feel free to unmute yourself or in the chat. Any questions? Thank you. Thank you so much, Marie. Thank you so much for joining. Anyone else? I'd love to hear your feedback as well. Anything that you found from the presentation. If you had more questions about the program. Okay, so I'll leave it there. I'm going to follow up with all of you who attended with the email. And again, I really want to thank you for your time. I really appreciate you taking an hour out of your Sundays to join me. And I really hope that you found it insightful. And I'm here as well. Please reach out to me. Please connect. I look forward to hearing from you. And I really wish you a lovely start to your week. Thank you so much for joining.